if you have high conviction on something's appreciation, it makes a lot of sense to double, triple down on those assets rather than spread yourself too thin across a variety of things that you don't have high conviction in.
Today we sit down with Kyle Chase, entrepreneur and investor in the crypto space, to answer the question, what altcoins are primed for the coming bull market? And it is coming.
We're on the verge of something revolutionary. We're on the verge of institutions being able to finally invest in Bitcoin, which is going to pump our entire market like crazy. We're about to see a bull market that you and I have never seen before. No one's ever seen before. It's going to be unlike 2017, unlike 2021. It'll be massive. And you guys watching are going to get carried away, and everyone's going to be drunk on being rich.
Now, Kyle not only brings his opinions in this video, he brings research, analysis, and 5 investment theses. He tells us exactly what he's doing.
One of the things about my channel is I tell people literally what I'm doing, and it's no bullshit, just very straightforward. Hey, here's what I'm doing.
In this video, you get research, you get analysis, you get price targets.
There's actually potential here for it to massively outperform Ethereum, for example. I'll talk about why it's one of the most interesting plays right now. This bull run, I think my price targets are around $200-300, maybe even more if this market goes wild. But I think that ultimately it's going to be $1 trillion market cap. It's sitting right now at $10. So you have an easy 100x from here.
Like the video, support the channel. Curious to hear what you think of this list in the comments below. Without further ado, let me intro this. Like buying Bitcoin at $1, like buying Cardano at 1 cent, these 5 altcoins have the potential to do really well in the coming bull market. Save this video. In fact, send this video to a friend. Somebody needs to hear this, especially before the bull market really picks up. Today, early Bitcoiner, entrepreneur, and crypto investor Kyle Chase is claiming that he has a list, a portfolio, 5 altcoins that nobody else has. He has research on these projects that nobody else is giving. Now, he has his own YouTube channel linked below. Do you follow Kyle? I follow Kyle. Now, if you do, maybe you've seen some of this alpha that he's about to drop, but I would bet that most people have yet to see what we're going to show you in this video. I'm excited. Let's jump right into it. Kyle Chase, how are you doing today?
Great, Aaron. Thanks for having me, man. Really happy to be here. Excited.
Great to have you. Now, I have that right, correct? Early Bitcoiner, entrepreneur, crypto investor. For those who don't know, like, please, I know there's more to it than that. Please, talk about your history, your experience in crypto, and feel free to brag a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so in 2012 is when I first got into Bitcoin, and before I had a company in longevity, anti-aging, regenerative medicine, and by 2013, I was so obsessed with the idea of Bitcoin and how it could change the world that I decided to sell that company and buy Bitcoin with it. So I bought Bitcoin, and that was 2013. I started building a Bitcoin lottery called World Super Lotto. So I was, a builder very early on, and so that's allowed me to kind of understand, what is involved in success or failure of a crypto project. I've also advised over 100. In the earlier days, 2015 or so, I started investing using my Bitcoin because I went all in Bitcoin in 2013, exited fiat, and started investing in a lot of the infrastructure in crypto. It was just called fintech then, I guess. And so I have investments in Coinbase, Kraken, Circle, which is like USDC, Abra, Securitize, which is now like real world asset narrative, is going to be really huge. Bitfinex, and a lot of other ones too. My company is called Master Ventures. You can masterventures.com and see the whole portfolio. And yeah, so I've, Master Ventures and myself, we've incubated a bunch of different projects, advised a lot of big ones, and build them too. We launched Paid Network in 2021. It's a top 3 launch pad that's coming again as well. Very excited to relaunch that and let everyone know what we've been up to. And I really try to work on the science of how to make money. And now I have my own YouTube channel where I educate people on what to look for, how to do research, and really try to be more data driven. I think that in 2017, a lot of influencers and people who had YouTube channels were talking about a lot of hype, and hype is cool. And it's important for a project. It has to have awareness. But, these days I try to be very data driven, and so far being data driven has led and you have to have a lot of intuition as well. And so I think that's what makes me different than a lot of people, is that I've been in the space for 12 years and I it's not always obvious the next trend or narrative that's going to evolve. And I also have a big research team that helps me find these things. So yeah, like last year in 2022, I made a video talking about top 5 kind of degen coins. One of those was Colt DAO. I talked about a 300,000 market cap. Within like 3 weeks later, it was 178 million. So there was, multi 100x. My $40,000 investment turned into $8 million. And even in this bear market, this last bear market, I've been making a lot of really great calls as well.
This is exciting, Kyle. I've seen a couple of these tokens you're about to share with us on this list. I know for a fact most of our audience has not seen tokens on this list, or at least has not like really thought about it like this. And like, I'm certainly familiar with being on the other side of, on YouTube, watching a video like this. Guys, I know you have your own list. Comment your thoughts below. What would you put in this portfolio? But Kyle, let's jump right in.
Sure. So I want to make sure this is by all means not an exhaustive list. I wanted to come here with a range of small cap to mid cap to large cap, and I think it's important to have a diverse portfolio and different risk management. I think that like blue caps, like for example, Solana and Chainlink are 2 that I'll talk about, and I'll give you reasons why. I'm sure most of your audience has heard about these, obviously, but there's very specific reasons of why I want to talk about them today and why I have high conviction. And high conviction is really important because if you have high conviction on something's appreciation, it makes a lot of sense to double, triple down on those assets, and rather than spread yourself too thin across a variety of things that you don't have high conviction in. If you've got your money spread across 30 different things and you don't really have high conviction in any of them, chances are you're not going to do very well. But if you really understand something, let's talk about Chainlink, for example. At first, it's been up over.
Is that your number 1 pick, Chainlink?
I think Chainlink is probably my number 1 pick. Yeah. So I made a video about 5 weeks ago talking about my $1 million. I literally put $1 million. I researched it, had a super high conviction, and what they're doing right now is insane. So I put $1 million into Chainlink about 5 weeks ago. It's up over $500,000 in profit since I made that bet, and let everyone else know about it too. So one of the things about my channel is I tell people literally what I'm doing, and it's no bullshit, just very straightforward. Hey, here's what I'm doing. I don't tell anyone to go buy anything. I just let you know my playbook day by day, what I'm doing. So Chainlink is insane. It's literally the only thing. I think it's going to be the Google of Web3. It has no competitors, super huge. Sergey has been building this thing since 2013, essentially ideating it in 2015, since building Chainlink. And they have big partnerships with DTCC, which is the government regulated clearing settlement house for the United States securities industry. They settle almost $2.5 quadrillion a year in value. And they've been doing a partnership with Chainlink right now, where Chainlink will help them in that settlement process, and Chainlink will generate revenue off of all of the settlement value. So Chainlink will literally be processing quadrillions of dollars in value every year, and they have a revenue model, and that revenue model gets fed back into the tokens, the token economy, and that it's fully decentralized, where Chainlink, the company, doesn't take any profits. It goes back in the token ecosystem. So just think about that. And I hesitant to say something because people think I'll be ludicrous, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chainlink surpasses Ethereum because of the revenue it's generating. And one of the things that I want to talk about, is real revenue generating protocols. And as we get into the more micro and small cap projects, I'll talk about those in a minute. So Chainlink would be number 1 by far, the highest conviction. And I do think that Chainlink, probably not in this bull run. This bull run, I think my price targets are around $200-300 for Chainlink, maybe $400. Maybe even more if this market goes wild. But I think that ultimately it's going to be $1 trillion market cap at $1,000 per Chainlink. So it's sitting right now at $10. So you have an easy 100x from here. So that's my number 1.
And are you saying? Let me ask you something. So you're saying that Chainlink, is it vastly different from how it was in 2018, 2019 when it did really well in that bear market? Obviously, we know it's been working with Swift, so much stuff going for it, but is it like the tokenomics are vastly different, or just the partnerships are vastly different, or it's just like a order of magnitude higher than as good as it used to be?
It's magnitudes more impactful. So folks are really bullish on XRP Ripple, and I think it's a particular use case as well. There's a lot more like Ripple and things like Quant Network, they're all what I consider like these enterprise coins, right? Enterprise focused on government adoption, institutional adoption. Whereas Chainlink just really started rolling out what's called CCIP. It's this, as you know, it's this cross-chain interoperability protocol, and this is something that allows you to transfer not only value but also messages to different blockchains in a seamless way. You know, and people who know me know that once upon a time I was very bullish on Polkadot because they were trying to build this narrative. And the problem is that Ethereum has dominated the narrative, and Ethereum layer 2 and 3s is, I think, a majority of development will happen with Ethereum as a settlement layer, and layer 2s and layer 3s and things like ZK Sync are building, you know, hyper chains, and you've got, you know, Optimism who are building these different OP stack. So you got now Coinbase is an OP stack, BNB's layer 2 is now an OP stack. So all these people are building their different blockchains, and in the world, in the future, we're going to have different app chains. And so every bank that wants to customize their own chain will have their own app chain. Every big, you know, enterprise at Tinder will have their own app chain. These guys will have their own blockchains that need to be able to communicate with one another, and not do it through these bridges that have been, you know, plaguing our industry. Most of the value lost has been through bridge attacks because bridges are centralized and they're not trustworthy. So Chainlink is building something that has, you know, removes the need for bridges. And allows these chains to natively communicate with each other, which is what the internet of blockchains is supposed to be. This is literally the solution that brings native communication between blockchains, which is mind-blowing. And nobody else, it has a complete monopoly where alt layer 1s, layer 2s, bridges, dexes, they all have competition. Chainlink has no competition.
I love it. Guys, if you're getting value, like this video. And obviously there's, you know, more to this story as we're talking about just 5 altcoins on this video, guys. Subscribe to Kyle, linked below. But let's jump into number 2, Kyle. What do you got?
Yeah, so again, your audience has probably heard about this Solana. Obviously, it's had a meteoric run on here. I also made a video on it a while back. It's up over 100% since I talked about it, telling people that I'm going into it heavily. Why? Well, I used to be a big critic of Solana, especially back last year when it kept going down all the time. But one of the most important things in our industry is community. And Solana has proven that it has a very, very strong community. They've done a phenomenal job at capturing that. They were early enough with that narrative as an Ethereum killer to where it just stuck. And I'm very, very doubtful on competing layer 1s now. I think Aptos and Sui, incredible technology, but are they getting adoption? Not really, right? So Solana is really the only alternative layer 1 to Ethereum that I think has a really good chance at being a massive layer 1. And they just had Solana Breakpoint where they announced what's Fire Dancer, which is a new protocol essentially that allows the validators to compute in a different way essentially. And in testnet right now, they're getting 600,000 to 1 million transactions per second. So that's enough to do all of Twitter, all of Visa, all of MasterCard, all the payment solutions all at one time without going down. This is a huge leap in innovation for blockchain technology, and it's scaling on the layer 1 level, which is Ethereum hasn't been able to do. So like, there's actually potential here for it to massively outperform Ethereum, for example. So where I before was a big Solana critic, I'm now a big Solana bull, and it's because it's data driven. I'm seeing actual, you know, movement forward in innovation and technology where I'm impressed. They've been able to flip me into a believer now, and so I also have really high conviction in Solana, and yeah, they're delivering on the tech, and the community is super strong.
So the reason that Solana is just leagues above a Cardano, an Algorand, a Sui, whatever it is because of the tech?
Tech and community. Like, community is huge. And one of the things that gives us really good signals here of life back into something. I was waiting to see, you know, I wasn't sure if, you know, in crypto, people are always like fascinated by the new shiny thing. Oh, look at over here, look over there, you know, and they just jump around. And the second that we started to see the market wake up again, right? Like a week, 2 weeks ago, whatever, the community came back thriving and Solana pumped like crazy. And this is how we know that the community is not dead. It's very much alive, and there's tons of transactions happening. So it's tech, very fascinating, and community is very impressive.
You're bringing the alpha, Kyle. I love it. But, you know, my audience, we're familiar with Solana. We're familiar with Chainlink. let's get into some of these lower caps or maybe unknown projects.
All right. So, so one of the interesting things that's going on right now is gambling or GameFi, right? And one of the projects that has been able to completely define gravity in the bear market has been Rollbit. I'm not sure if your audience knows too much about Rollbit, but I'll talk about why it's one of the most interesting plays right now. It has done something like 10,000% gains or more
Rollbit
in
is
this bear
gambling.
market.
Rollbit is like a
Rollbit so they have some different revenue streams, and I'll show you here. Let me see if I could just quickly share my screen. I'm in Dubai right now, so I wasn't able to load up the actual dashboard, but I took a screenshot here, and let me just share it with you. So Rollbit, one of the things, and again, I'm data driven here in a lot of things. So you can see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So so they have three different revenue streams. They have a casino, they have a futures market, and then they have a sports betting book. And so you can see that, and I do have one bit of criticism that I would, or suggestion for Rollbits. I would say that you can see these numbers here, 10%, 30%, and 20%. This is how much of their revenue they buy back and burn of the token. And you can see that it's impressive. Since they started doing the buyback and burns, it's only been a few months, I believe. They've already burnt 37, almost 38% of the supply. Insane. They're burning over 1 million tokens a day. And one of the things that I like to look at, you can see this revenue. Look at this 30-day revenue here. You've got almost $30 million from the casino, almost $9 million from their futures platform, and almost $6 million from sportsbook betting. So
is that your pick? Is Rollbit your pick?
Number 3 for today is Rollbit. Why? So we're going to have to start valuing projects in crypto in a more realistic way, right? Eventually, we're going to get away from massive speculation and things being massively overvalued to where we have massive corrections because people just are buying too high. One of the things that people use in the traditional world to value companies is something called price to earnings ratio. And the closer you can get to 1 or less than 1, the more undervalued a company is. So right now, Rollbit is on track to generate over $600 million in revenue this year. Insane. And their market cap right now is about 672 million. So their price to earning ratio is just over 1. To give you some context, most things like Google and things trading on the stock market have a price to earnings ratio of about 25. That's what most smart traders on Wall Street will be valuing companies at. So this is a 25 times better deal than something that's traded, that's considered a fair price on the stock market. You will not find many projects generating this much revenue valued at this much. I believe that Rollbit will be at least a $10 to $20 billion token in the bull run, at least. And that would just put it on the low end of fair value. It should be valued right now closer to a $15 to $20 billion market cap project.
And if it had that market cap, if it had that market cap, about what price would it be?
So that would be that's 25x from here. So right now you have it at let's see, right now it's at 20 cents. So yeah, that put it at what, like $5?
Altcoin Daily Army, what do you think about this? I'm writing stuff down. This is good stuff, I think.
Yeah, so then we'll get into so back to data-driven revenue. So so another one is that I don't know if you guys have covered Unibot before, but Unibot, had this it's interesting technology built into Telegram. It allows the users to snipe opportunities. So people were using this a lot for aping into and people have been using this like crazy to buy up when a new token launches. They'll snipe up a big percentage of supply, and then when it pumps, they'll sell it. And there was
this is a bot for what platform?
For Telegram. So it integrates directly into Telegram, and you can just do really easy things. You can set buy orders. You could say that you can set it and forget it, and say that I want to buy this coin that's not on a centralized exchange. Maybe it's a new meme coin or something. You can say, hey, buy it at this price, or when a new token launches, you can get in there, and it's able to directly go to the miners and bypass a lot of the front end user face, which slows things down, so you can get in quicker than anybody else. And people are making tons of money. on all kinds of dexes. So it's integrated a bunch of different dexes. And so to give you an example, and so Unibot isn't the one that I'm going to tell you about. Unibot is the first one that generated a lot of attention. It went up to a $211 million market cap about 2 months ago. And the original Telegram bot was called Maestro, and it still is the OG. But about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I told my audience about something called Banana Gun. Now, it sounds silly. It sounds like a meme coin, right? It's hard for me to take it seriously because of the name. It looks like a meme, but it's literally the best sniping bot technology in there. And so what people do with it is they're able to bribe miners. Now, this sounds crazy, but miners, they're the ones who validate blocks in Ethereum. And so literally by paying a high fee, you can bribe a miner and get your transaction in the front of all the transactions, so you can front run everyone on everything. And to give you an example of how this works, there was a really hyped project called Rekt that I talked about, REKT. Arthur Hayes was talking about it and everything. And these guys, to show you that Banana Gun, what I'm talking about, was the best technology, these guys used Banana Gun to snipe the launch of Rekt. They were able to, they had to pay 72 ETH, I think, bribe. So they spent a lot of money to bribe them, or maybe it's 45 ETH, I don't remember. But it just shows you it's the fastest bot out there. They were able to buy up 10% of the supply at the launch because they got it at super cheap. And then they were able to sell that when it pumped to 25x or $25 million. And they made profit almost $500,000 in like 2 hours by using this technology. So Banana Gun is by far the best, and they're generating, they're surpassing Unibot because it's the best technology, and they're innovating, making better user interface so everyone can use this stuff. And when it comes back to revenue generation, they're surpassing Unibot, they're surpassing everybody from a revenue perspective, and they're sharing revenue with the token holders. And so they also have some burning mechanisms built in. And so I think that Banana Gun is going to be a huge performer in the upcoming, and it's low market cap right now. I think it's at 18 million right now. So we're getting into the kind of more degen, lower market cap kind of projects.
Excellent, dude. I love it. Yeah, I was not familiar with Banana Gun. So this is awesome. And for the sake of our audience's time, let's jump to number 5.
Yeah, so the last one I'll tell you about, actually one will be, I'll give you a bonus, but it's kind of the same narrative. So Hilo, HILO, is really interesting. So I've read a bunch of research, like Pantera, one of the best investment firms in crypto, Binance, they've all done research about predictive markets. Predictive markets are really interesting. People are degens, right? Like everyone, like they like to bet on things. And so Hilo allows you to bet on, if an asset is going to be, more expensive or cheaper in the future. Very simple, but people love this kind of stuff, and they're generating a lot of real world revenue. And it reminds me of the early days of Rollbit, where it's a very catchy narrative. And I think right now, Hilo is trading only at it's like $18 million or something like that right now. So it's quite a low market cap, but they're generating real revenue. And you can also do predictive markets on real world outcomes. So right now on the platform, they say, like, is Sam Bankman-Fried going to get 115 years in jail? Will Bitcoin ETF get approved in 2023? And people can bet on these different outcomes. So it's very simple, but it's something that people really love for dopamine hits, for betting, generating real revenue. And then I'll give you one more as a bonus. It's very, very degen, but it's crazy. And I think this narrative is going to go, because on social media, users keep posting screenshots of their gains. So it allows you to do leverage trading on super degen brand new coins. And so I've seen people post screenshots of their gains, betting, $5, like huge leverage on some brand new crap coin that comes out, and they're doing like 20,000% gains, turning $5,000 into $20,000 or something. So it's really, you have an exchange, and it's trading right now at, I forget, like I don't know, it's like $4 million, $3 million right now. So this is, I think, very, very innovative. It allows people to do really high risk things, but bet low amounts of money. And people it's also fun, and they're generating, again, real revenue. So I love these real revenue generating, revenue sharing, burning protocols, because even in a sell pressure, they're buying back their own tokens on the market and burning them or redistributing them, which creates constant daily buy pressure from the protocol itself.
Guys, Kyle wanted to do 5 more than this, but I told him stick to 5. I got the bonus one in. So if you want to see his continued list, make sure you subscribe to his channel. It's amazing to me that despite all this alpha, you still at this point have less than 50,000 subs. So let's get him up there. Kyle, my final question for you is, now that we have your picks, and thank you so much, like just general advice for somebody who's, going to be getting into trading and buying and investing in crypto.
Yeah, I think it's really important to understand market cycles and how things work. One of the things that we're all excited for here, and I think that you probably share the same sentiment, so does crypto Twitter. We're on the verge of something revolutionary. We're on the verge of institutions being able to finally invest in Bitcoin, which is going to pump our entire market like crazy. We're about to see a bull market that you and I have never seen before. No one's ever seen before. It's going to be unlike 2017, unlike 2021. It'll be massive. And you guys watching are going to get carried away, and everyone's going to be drunk on being rich, right? And we're all going to forget core principles, and we're all going to ape into everything, and we're going to be so enthralled with how much money we're making, we're going to forget core principles. And so on my channel, we're going to talk about making sure that you take profits, making sure to remind you along the way, and you need people to remind you. I have it plastered all over my office, like take profits, sell at this thing, and strategize to make sure that when the market does eventually come crumbling down, because I do think in 2026, maybe late 2025, we're going to see a great financial crisis. And I think that even this beloved crypto market is going to come back down, crash hard. And you want to make sure that you're in a position of strength, your position of what to do. So I have a whole team of researchers, guys from Mazari, traditional finance, that are helping me along the way. We run a crypto LP fund as well. And so I share all this knowledge. I'm paying a lot of money every month to have all these researchers bring me information, and I'm bringing it to my viewers as well. So let's do this together, guys. It's a really good time to be excited. We have to be cautious, and let's change lives.
I love it. Guys, give him a follow. Why not? Kyle, thank you so much for coming on today. This is an awesome video. I think our audience is going to get a lot of value, and you at home watching, comment your picks. There's people who are going to love your picks, not like your picks. I'm curious to know what the people at home think about this. Share it on social media, on Telegram, see what your friends think. But Kyle Chase, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it.